Couple of undefeated teams and a couple of undefeated broadcasters. Let's get it going. Week 2 of the FCFL, and it kicks off right now on the FCFL Digital Network. Aiden, Blanc, and Ian Nicholas from behind the end zone at Water Tower Field in New Canaan. 1-0 Fairfield, 1-0 New Canaan, the Falcons and the Rams. Falcons with a last-second victory in overtime last week over the Westport Wreckers. New Canaan came in and they took care of business against St. Joe's, Badsons, whatever we're going to call them. They took care of business, Ian, and it was a big win for them. Now they look to keep the momentum going against a team that, under normal circumstances, they would probably beat very easily, but it's private football. You never know.
I mean, look, for anybody watching from the outside in when they saw New Canaan versus the Badsons on that Week 1 schedule, especially what the Badsons did to New Canaan last year at St. Joseph's High School, you would expect another blowout, but New Canaan with an awesome 24-14 victory where they just want to run the ball over and over, Aiden. It's not a very flashy style of play under offensive coordinator Dan Farina, but it is a style that works perfectly, and especially it eases things for first-year starting quarterback Reed Brown, and it gets wins. It just chews the ball up, tires up defenses, and Chris Silvestri's defensive unit is a phenomenal one, and I think it's going to give Fairfield's head coach, Dr. Mitch Ross, who is an offensive guru in his own right, but Coach Chris Silvestri has been around a long time. He's one of the best defensive minds in the state, and that's going to be the matchup today. What can Fairfield, who scored over 30 points last week up against Westport, do this week against a senior-heavy, very talented New Canaan defensive unit? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and keep in mind, this is a Fairfield team that was not able to practice for 2 weeks due to COVID protocols at Fairfield Ludlow. They had to quarantine some members. So this is a team that was really proud of what they accomplished last week. They were supposed to play Badsons, but they couldn't get the field. So now they're playing road games for the rest of the season. That's going to be a little bit weird. They're going to be in Danbury next week. But they're going to make the best of this season, and hopefully they're able to use this to springboard into a potential spring season.
And on the opposite end of the spectrum, it seems like New Canaan's going to be stuck right here on the Water Tower Field for a good chunk of this private season, which I bet all those fans are very excited. I mean, well, we only have parents here at the game. That's what we got right now, and they're pretty loud. You could hear it last week when we put the video up. New Canaan parents, they're just a different breed. They get loud, and they are very supportive of their sons on the field, so that is all the crowd noise you'll need. But that definitely, look, home field advantage isn't as, I guess, advantageous as it usually is, but it is something. And being comfortable, look, the FCFL 3rd through 8th graders, the kids that are playing high school football for New Canaan right now, they played on this Water Tower Field all of their life, so they know it like the back of their hand, and I bet that definitely does give a little bit of familiarity, and it's just something that they don't have to deal with travel. So they'll be here next week, too, up against Brunswick, so great for them.
Badsons was up against Darien earlier this afternoon. We are still trying to get a final from that, but it was a 1-point game going to the fourth quarter. I mean, normally St. Joe's and Darien would give you a pretty good game, and they definitely did this week.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Badsons, they played an interesting style last week. We saw life without Jaden Sheridan for the first time for St. Joseph's, for that St. Joseph's Badsons unit, and it definitely looked a lot different. I think that game for head coach Joe Delavecchia and his crew really, they just didn't, look, you didn't get a lot of practice reps before that game. I know they had problems getting field as well to get some reps on, but they finally saw what that team looked like when you took away Jaden Sheridan. And it's still a phenomenal ball club. Brady Hutchinson and Jack Wallace, that wide receiver quarterback combo, it's fantastic. And it was on display last week against New Canaan. But life without Jaden Sheridan is one that in this shortened private season they are going to have to adjust to very quickly. And it looks like they already have, playing elite competition in Darien, and it's already a back-and-forth game there as well.
So we do not have a score bug for today because we're on Water Tower Field, but we will do our best to keep you updated in the live chat, and of course, you'll have us through the entire game. We're getting ready for Fairfield and New Canaan on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. The lights may be necessary, not now, but maybe a little bit later.
Yep, thank God, because it looks really bad this earlier in the afternoon. The thunder clouds, the rain, we have a tent up above us right now. We don't really need it at the moment. Hopefully, the clouds stay at bay. Mother Nature blesses the FCFL with a fantastic game. And it seems like they're about to gear it up between New Canaan and Fairfield. I'm very interested. The last time New Canaan played Fairfield was late 2018 when I was still on the team. I remember it was a rainy game up at Taft Field. It was extremely cold. I was not happy to sit on the sideline.
Oh, I do remember that game.
You do remember it now?
Yeah, I called that game. That was something else. There was flooding. There was all kinds of stuff. There were all kinds of tricky problems.
Yep.
But
you had
in the end, they got past it.
And then I remember just Quentin O'Connell being Quentin, and I don't know, maybe an O-lineman scored off a fall. It was a crazy game.
It was not close. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, that was a great year for New Canaan. They made it all the way to the state championship game up against Greenwich, and that was just a fun team to be a part of. They really rallied at the end of the year, and, it's a completely new unit this time around. No Drew Pine and a lot of those great players on that unit. Garrett Braden, Jack Stewart, Jack Connolly not here any longer, but just like Lou Marinelli does every year, he's going to field a fantastic team, and we saw that last week up against the Badsons.
And it's interesting you mentioned Drew Pine because last week there was that big storyline of two of potentially the best players in a long time for either of those two squads. Drew Pine and Jaden Sheridan not on the field. First time they faced each other in 4 years where one of those players was not on the field. And it was some pretty good football. I did get to watch a little bit of it. It was some pretty good football. Ludlow, of course, the cardiac Falcons, as in typical Ludlow fashion, the Fairfield Falcons came out. They had some wackiness with blocking an extra point at the very end to force overtime. And then in overtime, they were able to stop a 2-point conversion. It was a little bit of sloppy football, but it was, by the end of the game, just as good, if not better, than what you would normally get in an FCAC game.
I got to say, and especially, I haven't watched a ton of Fairfield Ludlow football, but my God, it is the craziest team to follow in Fairfield County. They just win games. They do things that no other team, and it works. They've won 13 games over the last 2 seasons. They won 7 wins 2018, 6 wins last year. They win ball games. Mitch Ross, conventional, and it is fun to watch. And, I can't wait to actually call a game and see it live in action because I know they have players shifting all over the place. They have skill players, quick and fast linemen that don't usually have that big build like a couple of the juggernauts you have at New Canaan and David Siegel, Teddy the Clue, and the rest of those fellas. But it is a fun team to watch, and I just cannot wait to see how this game boils down and what Mitch Ross has planned for his kids in this one.
Yeah. You got Mitch Ross on the sideline for the Falcons as the captains start to come out to midfield. And then you got Lou Marinelli, of course, the legendary head coach on the New Canaan sideline. Two guys that know each other well, maybe not as head coaches. They haven't played a ton as head coaches. But, of course, before coming to Ludlow, Mitch was the assistant coach at Darien, so they know each other from those games quite a bit. We are getting set for kickoff.
We got Drew Buckley from Fairfield, one of their best players, alongside Chris Kinnett from New Canaan, who had 2 interceptions last week. One of the best players, if not, I think the best player on this New Canaan team. He is such a star, heading to UPenn next year to play lacrosse. Just a megastar athlete. Everybody loves him. He's a phenomenal guy. And Aiden, what about you tell us a little bit about Drew Buckley for Fairfield? You spoke highly of him in pregame when you and I were talking.
Yeah, he returned the kicks a little bit last week, and he started the season off with about a 60-yard kick return. He had a pretty crazy return. Both of these teams are super excited for this game. They're super excited, of course, just to get the season going, and we are happy to be here again. New Canaan will host Brunswick next week at this field. Time still to be determined. And same thing with Ludlow. They will travel to the Bubble up in Danbury, and we'll do our best to bring it to you.
Yep, and we got our streaming equipment up and running. We want to thank the Siegels for giving us a little piece of equipment, a hotspot that allowed us to stream this game. So shout out to David Siegel's parents. I've known them for a long time. Mr. Siegel coached me on my first ever football team in 6th grade, so I owe a lot to him for where I am today. He's a phenomenal guy. And thanks to him, his son and the rest of his New Canaan team, we can bring you the action between New Canaan and Fairfield. So Nick Radman will kick it off, the all-state punter last year and star kicker who made a couple of field goals last week. Actually is not going to be Nick kicking off. It's going to be Ty Groff, who is the sophomore and a kickoff specialist. He played a little bit last year in the team's opener when Radman was sidelined. And number 39 will get us going here.
62 degrees as we get ready to kick off. It was raining 2 hours ago when we first arrived, but it's an absolutely beautiful day for football.
So here's a return. It will be Buckley looking for the lane right, and he's dragged down by Matthew Benevento, the senior. Good special teams play there from the Rams long snapper and one of their starting outside linebackers. And here's Kyle Chamberlain, who will tread onto the field, number 4, I believe, for Fairfield Falcons. A first-year starter, Aiden, came over from Westport, spent 2 years there, transferred in the middle of last year, but this is his second game at the helm.
Yeah, last year he didn't get a chance to start too much. This is actually his second start, first away for the Falcons.
Chamberlain's already under duress. He finds a man, and it's batted away, looking for Manny Sapellis, and instead it is Will McKay, senior inside linebacker number 2, who makes the stop.
Yeah, Will had him wrapped up. Really good defense played by the Rams, and now Ludlow forced to his second down. The passing game was very crucial last week. They got a lot of big gains. They didn't do a ton of running.
Mm-hmm. And New Canaan's going to be the exact opposite. Here's a run up the gut. You jinxed him a little bit. Again, it is Sapellis, and he's got nowhere to go. This Rams front set, and it gets stops. And it got stops last week against the Badsons whenever they tried to run.
Yeah, so it's interesting that Sapellis is going to get the start this week as the running back, and he got targeted on that first play, too. Denham Philbin was getting a lot of the handoffs last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that he doesn't get the start here in week 2. Clearly, Ross trying to switch it up, and when you're going up against the big, bad New Canaan Rams, it may not be a terrible idea to kind of throw them off their game a little bit, give them a little bit something different than what they would have expected.
Chamberlain steps up. He finds a big lane up the middle. At first, runs down a New Canaan defensive back. That is Chris Connett, and that's a guy who you usually do not see trucked. But Chamberlain extending it with his legs. He's not afraid to get loose when the play breaks down, and that is a Fairfield first down with just under 11 minutes in this first quarter, and that is their first down of the afternoon.
Yeah, Ludlow had a couple of different quarterbacks these past few years, and none of them have been particularly mobile, but Chamberlain has definitely been the most mobile of all the quarterbacks we've seen for the Falcons in these past few seasons.
So that was a screen pass looking for Buckley, and it's incomplete, but there's a flag, and it is probably going to be pass interference on New Canaan. No, excuse me, it's actually going to go against Fairfield, so that's going to be probably a holding call, and it's going to push him back 5 or 10 yards to set up 1st and 15. So they're looking to set up the screen game. They got a lot of quick weapons in this offense, and New Canaan able to track it down. Nolan Larkin getting some playing time right now for New Canaan, number 11, the defensive back and senior, and also Vincent Cognetta in there, a junior at middle linebacker, and Connor Bailey, number 20, the kick returner for this team, also playing some DB. So here's 1st and 15 after the penalty. Chamberlain looks for the check down. He finds Sapellis and nowhere to go as he's wrapped in lane. Sets up a 2nd and long. You know, Fairfield, you mentioned it, and they do like to throw that football. And, you know, this is a bad situation, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they get themselves out of it.
Yeah, they're pretty balanced. They're looking for a new running back. They've had Brian Howell and James Bork these past few years. They're looking for a guy that can football.
And down Matt Benevento with a plethora of Rams all over him. What is forever on Fairfield's opening drive.
Yeah, that was a tough play. The defensive line was very, very good last week, and they got Chamberlain down a few times. You're going to have to limit that. You can't have those big losses. That's just going to kill him.
Yep, and it's killing him right now. So 3rd and long with 9:25 left in quarter number 1. And just a quick pass out to the right. That's going to be 4th down on the quick completion to Mike Anamio.
Yeah, Mike got targeted a lot last week. This is his senior season. He hasn't really been spotlighted too much for Fairfield Ludlow, but he steps up this season. He stepped up a lot in game number 1. And now he's going to try and really control this game. They're gonna hit him more than a few times today. That won't be the first time you say his name. Or the last time you say his name, rather.
So Fairfield on the punt. And the punt will come from Nolan Izzo, number 17. And that one out of bounds near the near side of the field.
Yeah, Izzo did a very good job kicking last week. He attempted what was, I think, at least a 40-yarder at the very end of the first half, and he almost hit it. And he had a chance to give them the lead, tie the game late with a field goal. And it turned out it was a botched snap and turned into a touchdown. So he didn't really get a ton of kicking, at least in terms of field goals and PATs, but he did a lot of kickoffs. He did a lot of punts. They rarely punt. They're only going to punt when it's
fourth
usually
and forever.
Fourth and forever. Mitch Ross is usually very risky when it comes to going for it on 4th down.
So 1st down, and they're going to start inside Fairfield territory. Give up the middle to Christian Carson, their leading rusher from last week, and not a lot of room. Emily, tell him he doesn't have to leave so much room behind Reed. So 2nd and short, New Canaan's going to quicken up the tempo here with just over 8 minutes left in quarter number 1. Quick side of the field to Christian Sweeney, and he's still churning, fighting for extra yardage, and the Rams' number 1 receiver is just deadly in space.
Yeah, Sweeney's a name we all know in New Canaan. Basketball, football, he does everything.
Lacrosse.
Very athletic player there. You can see he's very lanky, athletic receiver, and a good target there on 1st down.
So now 1st and goal for New Canaan. Christian Carson, the Reed Browns left. And they're going to give it right up to the Diesel. And he scores. Touchdown, New Canaan. 2nd touchdown in as many weeks for Christian Carson.
Yeah, I love that nickname. The Diesel, straight up the middle. And it's perfect for a running back, too. He goes right up the middle. No one was hitting him that time. And New Canaan gets up first. Now, answer. Nobody expects Fairfield to win this game, but they expect him to at least keep it close. If they can keep it within a score or two this first half, maybe they surprise some people late in the game.
And it's a weird formation here. The line lines up to the right, Reed Brown and Nick Radman. It's going to be Vincent Cognetta who gets the snap, and is he in for 2?
Wow. Yeah.
He is. I have never seen that formation from the Rams, but they give it to the big Vincent Cognetta, and it works.
Wow. Weird formation. They didn't even really typically do the typical snap. It was almost like a 7-on-7 snap. They just kind of shoveled it to him. I know we don't like to talk about 7-on-7. This is not 7-on-7 football.
No, this is real football and FCF. It's with 7:46 left in the first quarter. New Canaan with a short field, a couple gives to Christian Carson. He scores his 2nd touchdown in 2 weeks with the Rams starting running back, and then a 2-point conversion on a direct snap to linebacker and backup running back Vin Cognetta, and he scores on the 2-point conversion, and it's 8-0 New Canaan. And that was a crazy play. Reed Brown was in there. Nick Radman was lined up at running back, but they had the blockers set up right in front of Cognetta, and it opens up the 2-point conversion. So after punting on drive number 1, what will Kyle Chamberlain and crew here do on drive number 2? Groff on the kickoff, right to Buckley again. Looking for room. And he is dragged down by New Canaan's Vincent Cognetta, who is all over the field to start this game.
Yeah, good little return by Buckley. He's been very useful for them, both as a receiver, as a running back. Whatever they need him to do, he can kind of do it all. They've done a little bit of plays where they use him and they just direct snap. It's been a little bit of everything for him, and he's definitely been a very good, useful weapon. 1 season to go. His senior season certainly should be a breakout one, both here and hopefully in the spring in the FCFL. In the CIEC, that is.
So here is Chamberlain. Looks over the middle and incomplete. Bates Grigsby dove for it for New Canaan. Couldn't nab the interception.
Yeah, their defense has done a very good job keeping the passes to a minimum. I don't think they've completed a single.
No, well, let's go back and
no, I don't think so.
Memory.
Every play that was gained on that last Ludlow drive, on that last Fairfield drive, was a run play.
Can Chamberlain get some momentum here? Sapellis to his right, looks for the quick ball, and it is complete, and it's a fumble.
No,
and it is recovered. No, we were going to say it's incomplete. I thought he turned it up the field. Let's see. They're still working on it.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird play, and now it looks like there is an injury on the field.
There is. Unfortunately, we can't really see it.
It's a New Canaan
It's Bates
player.
Grigsby on the ground.
Credit to Mitch Ross. He looked like he was the first one to go to Bates. As soon as Bates went down, he was the first one over there.
And Grigsby, he had an interception last week, a cornerback, a big guy, very physical, big guy, a great guy. A lot of people love him in the community. He does walk off. It looks like it's an arm injury, probably his left arm. We wish him nothing but the best. He started last year for him, and we're probably going to see a little bit more Nolan Larkin and Riley Gardner at his arm, and that's a bummer. So not sure if that was a completion or an incompletion to Luca Inone, number 21 for Fairfield.
It was an incompletion because the ball went out of bounds.
Well, if he fumbled it and the ball went out of bounds, then he does get the yardage.
Unless he had it and the ball popped out and went out.
I believe they are going to move him up, so just another wonky play. A completion.
We saw plenty
fumble.
of those last week. We saw a lot of that last week.
Can he zoom out anymore? So a direct the middle dog pile ensues.
Yeah, not much, maybe a yard or two. The running game doesn't seem to be working too well for Ludlow. They're going to have to try and work it to the outside. They're not going to get much when they're just shoving it up the gut.
That's Drew Buckley. Just a straight snap to him.
There you go. We've now seen him line up as a wide receiver. We've seen him return a kick, and we've seen him on the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him take a direct snap a little bit later in this game.
So second down, just under 7 minutes left in the first quarter. New Canaan up 8-0.
There you go.
And Buckley again, I think he's trying to draw him off sides, and he can't. So Fairfield will just call a timeout.
Probably was winding down in the play clock. I'm not sure if they have a play clock at this level.
They do. If you just send the guys out there with really just no play and just say, try to get them off sides, doesn't work there. So Mitch Ross brings his crew back to the sideline with exactly 6:49 left to go in this first quarter from Waveney Park's Water Tower Field here in New Canaan, Connecticut. And the home team, New Canaan, up 8-0 over the Fairfield Falcons, who represent, if not entirely, players from Fairfield Ludlow High School.
Yeah, almost entirely Fairfield Ludlow. Beautiful day for football, though. It really feels like a fall afternoon.
Yeah.
I know college football is back. All but one of the Power 5 conferences was playing today.
So I believe second down here. Chamberlain back in the shotgun. He's under by. He puts up the heave and incomplete. Out of bounds. Riley Gardner was in coverage looking for Jack Morrison, number 25. And that ball sails. Pressures from Braden Sweeney.
Final from earlier, Badsons Football Club, which is players from both Trumbull and St. Joe's, defeated Darien 27-20. So a very good game. One of a few that are on the.
So actually, that was fourth down, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
because
they went for it on fourth down and they lost.
The Mitch Ross
possession.
philosophy, and Reed Brown and crew will take over right near the 30-yard line, or excuse me, the 40-yard line. So it right into the New Canaan's number 11. Not one of their primary guys, but does not go for much. Just inside the 40 at the 39-yard line. 6:17 left in the first quarter, and New Canaan back on offense. Hayden Shin in at running back, and the Rams with the 8-0 lead. Second down, Again, a run to Shin, cuts it upfield. Pickup of about 3 or 4 right to the 35-yard line as New Canaan again is in Fairfield's territory to start their second offensive drive.
Yeah, they haven't really had to work much to get these 2 touchdowns. They're just kind of running the football. They have a bunch of athletic players on the field. They're not really working much to get these touchdowns. Ludlow's defense has to show us something here. If they really want to show that they're going to compete today, they have to get a big stop on one of these next few plays, and you can hear the wind kicking up.
Brown steps up, and he's going to go down. Nowhere to go with the football, and it is number 72, Lucas Mayer, who gets to quarterback Reed Brown.
Really good stop. They're not necessarily in field goal position quite yet. They're not really in comfortable field goal position at least, because generally the kickers at the high school level can't make much more than a 30-yarder or so. But a very good stop, and now they're going to need maybe one more and put New Canaan in a really bad position here.
So Brown on 3rd down, looking for the deep shot down the left sideline, and it is almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Drew Smith. And a big play for Ludlow as Brown sails the deep ball incomplete.
Yeah, it sure came right out. That was perfect coverage. He almost had it.
Yep.
I thought he had it. It looked on camera at least first like he had it. Maybe he had it and dropped it, but really good coverage by Smith. That could have been just a disaster if it had been caught.
Well, actually, I think Mitch Bross is probably happy it didn't get caught because now they're going to start right where New Canaan started.
Exactly, another turnover on downs.
Yep. So back-to-back turnover on downs from both teams. So Chamberlain is going to look to have a bit more success on drive number 3. He's looking left, he's running left, and he is completing it left. Dragged down by Nolan Larkin on the completion 2. Drew Smith, hey, there's a catch.
Yeah, Schmitty has been very good. He plays usually back in the secondary on defense, and then he steps up and plays wide receiver. He plays both ways. It's going to be a very sore day for him tomorrow. He's not going to feel, but he's nearly had an interception, gets a big catch there.
So Ludlow at the 46-yard line with 4:30 left in quarter number 1. Chamberlain sets up the check down pass to Sapellis, and he is shoved out of bounds by Henry Cannon and Nolan Larkin right at midfield. New Canaan still up 8-0 in the early going in this one.
Yeah, again, Sapellis getting the start. Clearly, Mitch sees something in him that he likes. I know he's been playing freshman and JV the last couple of years, and he gets the start on varsity today. This might be his first career varsity start, and he's getting he's gotten a couple of passes early, at least targets, and he's definitely getting the ball.
He's still in at running back here, right to Chamberlain's right. Trips right formation, and again a check down to Sapellis. And Larkin's been very active because they're going right to the boundary every time, and that's where Larkin finds himself. He comes over from Berks Catholic, I believe, in Pennsylvania. I might be getting that one wrong. Came from a private school there. He's a hell of a fast guy. Runs, I believe, under a sub 4.540. That speed you usually don't find around these parts, but he is an athletic guy, a great guy, and a guy who needs to step up right now with Bates Grigsby down. So 3rd down and about 5 for Chamberlain. Looks over the middle where he will find Sapellis, and he holds on through the tight tackle of Will McKay. He's going to be about 2 yards short of a first. So a 4th and 2. And this is definitely 4-down territory.
Absolutely.
So let's see what Fairfield does here as they are inside New Canaan territory. Actually,
there's a penalty. That should be an automatic first down. They're going to move the ball up. That's
going to go, I believe, on Chris Canet as he was a bit disappointed. That's probably a personal foul. That's going to move him up 15 yards, and they're going to be at the 29-yard line. With 3:30 left in the first quarter, New Canaan up 8-0, but Kyle Chamberlain and this Fairfield squad are looking to close the gap.
If you're Mitch Ross, they've come out very well today. They didn't have a great start that first New Canaan offensive possession, but other than that, this is the most productive offensive drive they've had all day. This is a very good start.
Chamberlain looks left, sails this one incomplete, and there's a flag thrown, and that one is going to go on Chris Canet, looking in the direction of Drew Buckley, and a little bit too handsy on the back end.
Yeah, the second straight penalty from that New Canaan defense. Lou Marinelli probably not too happy on the New Canaan sidelines.
He is all about discipline.
He's probably a little bit concerned about his defense so far. This is the furthest Ludlow's been down the field all day. What a start for this Falcons team. A chance to tie it up potentially within these next couple of plays. An incompletion, but in the end, it doesn't really matter because they're going to get some yardage off the penalty.
I know Coach Marinelli is like, Fairfield's not winning this drive. New Canaan is losing it with these penalties. He hates when he sees the yellow hankies on the field, and they got to clean it up here now in the red zone.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I think Fairfield definitely had a very good start to the drive, but now that we've gotten down into this, deep into the territory, into their offensive territory, it has definitely been New Canaan that's giving away a little too much of opportunities to Fairfield.
This is Fairfield's time to prove themselves. Chamberlain over the middle, and it's caught. Matt Benevento wrestles down. I believe number 9. Fairfield. Jake, I'm going to let you take the last name.
Yeah, it's Jay Fraticangelli.
Fraticangelli. Jake.
We just call him Frat, and it was a really good catch. They've completed, 4 of 5 now? This is a very good offensive drive. Considering that this is the second start, the first start away from Taft Field for Fairfield's for Kyle Chamberlain, this has been a very good start for him, and he's starting to work himself into a groove. He looks very comfortable out there.
Chamberlain over the middle. This one could go the distance. He gets the edge, and he is just short.
No, he knocked over the pile. I think he was in.
No, the ref's going to wave him down right at the pylon on the big catch and run for Mike Anamio. Mike is a big-time play for Chamberlain, and he's got some big-time speed.
Yeah, Anaimo has that kind of burst of speed. He also plays a little bit of baseball, and he can really run the bases. He's a fast guy.
And he can run the gridiron.
May not necessarily look like it, but he's a very fast guy.
So let's see what Fairfield does here on the goal line. Give right up the middle, and he will be just short.
Yeah, they got to stop. In fact, I think they actually lost some yardage there.
Yep, on the direct handoff, I believe, right to Buckley. That's the guy they want with the ball in these situations, number 1. Chamberlain's still in there. So let's see. 2nd and goal, just under 2 minutes left in this first quarter. New Canaan's up 8-0, but Fairfield is literally on the doorstep, the definition of it. Chamberlain rolls right, and he is going to meet head-on with Will McKay. The ball pops out, but he was definitely down by contact.
Yeah, I think he was, and there's a little bit of wrestling. New Canaan thinks they have it.
Yeah, both Chamberlain and Harry Apel.
No, they said he was down by contact.
Yep, Chamberlain and Ethan Schown were at the bottom of that dog pile. Chamberlain, it's funny because they're literally right in front of us. This is not a point I've ever got. Our cameraman, Austin Platt's in the stands. Want to give a shout-out to him. Our technical director, Emily Fox. But Aiden and I are right behind this goal line. It's a very interesting angle. Just over 1 minute left in this quarter. Chamberlain was down by contact. He went to extend the ball, and he is literally inches away from punching in a Fairfield touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I agree with that decision to extend there. That was a little bit risky because if the ball pops out, he's not necessarily down quite yet. That could have been disastrous. I would have just taken the yardage that you could get.
Chamberlain, QB sneak.
Nope.
He's looking for the second push, and he will get it. Touchdown, Fairfield. Kyle Chamberlain. Disaster on the previous play, and he's hyped up. Fairfield touchdown 8-6 now with 58 seconds left in quarter number 1.
Yeah, and why not? This is a Ludlow team this is a Fairfield team that really believes they can win it. They played really well so far. This has been a very pleasant surprise for Mitch Ross and company. Lou Marinelli's not going to be too happy at the end of this quarter when he gets to talk to his team, I'll tell you that.
And neither will defensive coordinator Chris Silvestri, but this secondary is just shooting themselves. That's not a saying, but that is one of Coach Marinelli's favorites, and that is the definition of it there. 8-6 ball game. Going for 2 here from the left hash. Kyle Chamberlain right back in the game. Whistles blow. And that is not going to count.
Okay. So what happened was there's whistles. That was not the referee's whistles. And the play was never whistled dead. They all stopped. Ludlow scored. That's a 2-point conversion.
I don't think they're going to count that.
No, I don't think they will. Those whistles were not coming from the field. Those were not the referee's whistles.
They were very annoying. And the play if that was the ref's whistles, then that play should have never been snapped. And if it wasn't, I don't know. So we're going to see what happens here. Give us a second. Fairfield's still on the field, so obviously that is not going to count. And they're going to go for 2 again. It's 8-6. New Canaan.
They were trying to figure out who that whistle was coming from.
And get him out of here.
But that should have been a 2-point conversion. There's no reason to whistle that play dead.
Well, let's see if they can do it again here. Give to Sapellis, and he is not going to get it. Stout up front. And it's going to be Alex Chur alongside many New Canaan Rams who make the stop. So New Canaan still leads 8-6. 58 seconds left in its first quarter. Ian Nicholas and Aiden Blanc on the call from Waveney Field, or the Water Tower Turf in Waveney Field from New Canaan. New Canaan got the scoring started with a Christian Carson touchdown and a Vincent Cognetta 2-point conversion. And there for Fairfield, we had a touchdown from Kyle Chamberlain on the QB draw from the goal line, and then an unsuccessful 2-point conversion. So Izzo to kick it off, as Reed Brown and crew will now have to go a longer distance. They started both their drives to start the game from inside New Canaan, from inside Fairfield territory. Here, we're going to have to go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, that's a turning point in this game. If Fairfield ends up really competing here and this game comes down to like 2 points, that's a pretty big moment.
Yes. Here's a pretty big player. Chris Connect's got a lane right up the gut. He cuts it outside. He's got the room and he's got the speed. And he is going to go all the way. Touchdown, New Canaan. Chris Connect, what flags? Puts it right in the rearview mirror like he does everybody else on the Fairfield kickoff team. New Canaan extends the lead 14-6. Chris Connect, what a return for the star defensive back. He had a pair of interceptions last year, but now making plays with the ball in his hands. It took New Canaan just 16 seconds to respond, and what a response it is. They're going to go for 2 again to try to make it a 10-point game, 16-6. Again, they're coming out with the wonky formations. And now we're just going to line up Nick Radman for the PAT to try to make it a 9-point lead. And the kick is well short, runs right into the line of scrimmage. So New Canaan will have a 6-point lead, an 8-point lead, thanks to that early 2-point conversion and the failed 2-point conversion from Fairfield. So with 42 seconds left in quarter number 1, thanks to an epic Chris Connect kick return, New Canaan responds in a whopping 16 seconds and is now up 14-6. What a phenomenal return. Just took it right up the middle, bounced it outside to the right, and he's got afterburners. He is some kind of athlete, a special kind of guy, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he missed the most of last season with a torn labrum, tore it in their Week 2 road loss to Ridgefield. And he came back this year, and he's come back stronger than ever after starring for the Rams as a defensive back in his sophomore season. Ty Groff on the kickoff. Can Buckley and crew do the same kind of stuff here? It's a shorter kick, and it's going to be halted around the 30-yard line. 36 seconds left in the half. 36 seconds left in the first quarter, I should say. They're going to officially spot it at the 29-yard line. And, wow, Aiden, you were stunned at that one. Just what a play.
Yeah, these last few seconds have been a little bit weird.
Yeah. From the debacle on the goal line, to the penalties, to Chris Connect. Here's Kyle Chamberlain. Over the middle of the field, it's complete. Runs over Matt Benevento and is dragged down by Chris Connect. There is a flag back near the line of scrimmage, so this catch over the middle from Drew Buckley could be coming backward.
That time, that was an actual referee whistle. They better get rid of that whistle, though. That's going to be a very big problem, and what's going to happen is they're going to end up playing through the whistles.
Yeah. And actually, it's going to be a personal penalty on New Canaan.
Wow, that's, the third we've seen on their defense today. This has not been a good day for the New Canaan defense.
Not from a discipline standpoint.
They've gotten the starts, but the New Canaan defense has collapsed in terms of penalties. They've given up almost 40 yards worth of penalties already.
So just under 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Fairfield at the 50. Chamberlain dumping it off. Catch and run. Fraddock and Jelly with the catch and rumble. Dragged down by Henry Cannon and a couple other Rams. At the 35-yard line, a pickup of 14. And it looks like that will be the last play of this extremely eventful and extremely fun first quarter.
And we're right next to the scoreboard, so we heard that.
That's why I paused. So there we are. At the end of one, New Canaan leads 14-6 over Fairfield, representing mostly, if not entirely, players from Fairfield Ludlow High School in Fairfield, Connecticut. We've seen a Christian Carson touchdown on the ground, a Chris Connect kick return touchdown just moments ago. And for Fairfield, we saw a Kyle Chamberlain QB sneak. A lot of penalties, a lot of fake whistles. And here we are, as we will start the second quarter in a matter of moments. Fairfield will start their drive at New Canaan's 35-yard line. We've seen in the last minute 2 touchdowns, and if Fairfield can keep it going, maybe 3. They just got a big catch and run from Fraddock and Jelly, who has been a big factor early on in this game. That was a 99-yard kick return from Chris Connect, taking it all the way from the 1 to the end zone. And that's exactly what New Canaan needed after that disaster defensive drive.
Yeah, they're definitely hearing it right now. They're definitely getting it talking to from their coach and defensive coordinators. It is not very pleasant right now on the New Canaan sidelines.
Chris Connect just comes in and bails the guys out, really. He's just that kind of talent. He can just kind of wash away. He can wash away a lot of your problems if you just let him run.
They're up by 8 points, so.
Thanks to him.
In the end?
We'll see how it goes. So here we are. Whistles are blown, and that's going to be a timeout to start the quarter. Quarter hasn't even begun yet.
Yeah, they must have gotten all the way down on the play clock.
Or just didn't like what they saw, who knows.
Yep.
But a timeout, I believe, called by Mitch Ross and crew of Ludlow,
of
Fairfield.
Second of the half.
Yep, so he only has 1 left with still 12 minutes to play.
It was interesting. Overtime last week was a lot of fun. They play it like college. They do not play it like the pros.
NFL.
They play it like college, where you get a possession and you either score a touchdown or a field goal, and then the other team has to match or better it.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was Fairfield scored on their first possession, which they got the ball first. They scored, hit the PAT, and then the Westport Wreckers came down. They scored. They went for 2 to win the game, and Fairfield stopped them, and that's how it ended. It was a very exciting game last week.
Yeah, to say the least. What was the final?
Clearly, 34-33, Fairfield won. But, hey, clearly they've put that in the rearview mirror, and they're moving on, looking for bigger and brighter.
Buckley is throwing the ball. That's not Kyle Chamberlain. That is Drew Buckley.
Yeah.
Incomplete.
He's got a good arm. I don't think I've ever really seen him. I know he plays a little bit of baseball, but I don't think I've ever really seen him throw the football that much. He usually is on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
But a very good throw.
He's going to line right back up at wide receiver.
Yeah, it's the first throw he's had all season long. That's probably a play specifically designed so he throws the ball and they kind of get New Canaan off a little bit. I don't think Chamberlain was even on the field, so you get the chance to have kind of an extra receiver on the field.
And let's see, quarterback is going to be Buckley again.
Yeah.
He's looking. He's under duress. He breaks 1 sack, and it's a fumble. Still loose, still looking, and it looks like New Canaan jumped on it. And they did. Buckley avoided the initial sack of Matt Benevento, but he was not. It was not done yet. Wow. Drew Buckley has taken the last 2 snaps at quarterback. And those are 2 snaps to forget.
It's batting about 500. Good pass on that first play. Not so great on the result.
That was insane. That the pressure came right at him. New Canaan's front 7 all over him. And now Reed Brown and crew will take over at around the 45-yard line. Give up the middle. Christian Carson still churning after that early first quarter touchdown. New Canaan up 14-6. Fairfield turning it over for their first time today. 11:26 and counting left in half number 1. Second down. Brown will dump it off to Carson. Secures the catch, but that's going to be a big-time tackle for loss on the swing pass to Christian Carson.
Yeah, check out the Ludlow defense. A very big effort and a solid effort. Harry Chandler, the senior, this is his last dance. He comes out, gets a big stop in the backfield. Ludlow is not taking any prisoners today. Fairfield not taking any prisoners. They are fighting until the last buzzer.
Brown looks right, finds his man. A big catch and run for Ryan Corbett. Finally dragged down by Buckley. But the Canadian-American, Ryan Corbett, with the big catch and run. He had a good week last week. Came back from a bad ankle injury last year, fractured it. But you can't tell with that kind of acceleration and a big play for him.
Yeah, that was a tough little run to give up, but you're still trying to keep them out of the end zone.
Reed Brown keeps it on the read option, cuts it upfield, and Ricky Bobby tumbles in. Touchdown, New Canaan. Second down in as many weeks, and we did not think Reed was much of a runner, but you know what? This game's been crazy enough. Anything can happen, Aiden.
Yeah, really good play fake, and he goes right down the gut. Now it's 21-6. Well, gonna be 21, 20,
pending
maybe 22.
Nick Radman PAT.
Watch out, that ball may be coming near us.
And they're going to come out with an interesting
formation.
formation.
They're going for 2, yeah.
So again, they're going to have Map and Evento long snapping, but the rest of the line is on the other side of the field. A flag is thrown, and it might be an illegal formation call on New Canaan. Let's see. It is. No, it's going to be false start. Excuse me. We have never seen this formation before. Now that they've been pushed back, they're going to go for a traditional PAT to try to make it a 15-point lead with 10:27 left in the quarter. There have been 3 touchdowns in the last 2.5 minutes. 2 from New Canaan, 1 from Fairfield. Here for the 1-point try, and there's the ball right past us. New Canaan, 21-6 lead with 10:27 left in this second quarter, following a Reed Brown read option. You know, I talked to Reed during the summer in the captain's interview, and he said, look, I'm a pocket passer. I'll stay in the pocket, and that's where I want to stay. But Coach Dan Farina has given him the option on these zone runs to pull it whenever he wants, and it is paying off right now for New Canaan.
It's much more of an Eli Manning toward the end of Eli's career. Not very mobile. Just going to stick in the pocket.
Eli couldn't move like that. Eli wasn't making cuts.
I'd be hearing about it all Sunday long from you if he could ever move like that.
Gosh. He's like Daniel Jones, but only Reed tumbled into the end zone, and Daniel Jones tumbled 20 yards away from the end zone. That's your difference. 24-yard run. That is the official from Reed Brown. Longest run of his starting career. It will be fielded with a bounce. Looking for room to the left. Cutting it back. And he takes a big hit from Henry Cannon. On the return there, Drew Smith, who has a catch to his name and a pass breakup as well. But 10-12 left in this second quarter. New Canaan up 21-6. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 from Christian Carson, 1 from Reed Brown, and a special team score from 99 yards out from Chris Connett. Kyle Chamberlain back in at quarterback after Buckley fumbled Chamberlain looks far sideline, and it is complete. No, in and out of the hands, excuse me, of a frustrated Luca Ainon.
Yeah, he really wanted that pass. But again, credit to this Falcons team. They don't give up. They're down 21-6, 10 minutes left in the half. Still a time to get at least one more good possession out of this. Maybe put the ball in the end zone again. Keep it close. That's all we want to see from them today.
I believe Fairfield did start with the ball, so New Canaan will get it at the half. That pass sailing out of bounds, overthrown, again looking in the direction of Ainon. Back-to-back targets for him, but also back-to-back incompletions. And it sets up 3rd and 10. As Kyle Chamberlain tries to dig himself out of his hole. Ian Nicholas, Aiden Blanc, alongside our technical director, Emily Fox, cameraman Austin Platt, here from New Canaan. We'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel so you can get more FCFL Senior Division football action over the coming weeks, and we appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Here's 3rd and 10. Chamberlain right over the middle, but all over him is Vincent Cognetta on the quick completion. That will be short of a 1st down. So 4th down, well in their own territory, but will Mitch Ross elect to punt here? He rarely does. 1 punt already in this game, now make it 2 as Chamberlain and company walk to the sideline and send out Izzo in the punt unit.
I'm surprised they've gone to a more conservative standpoint this year, or this week at least. They were a little bit more risky last week on 4th down, but clearly in a game like this, you don't want to give them the football this far into this close to the end zone.
It's a fake though, Aiden, and it's gonna be incomplete. No, it's caught in Sapellis with the crucial connection.
And there's a flag
There's
too.
A flag late though. That's probably gonna go on New Canaan. Not sure who threw that ball. I thought it was a high snap. That was Izzo doing a phenomenal acting job. He caught me off guard too. And Sapellis, the starting running back, Manny Sapellis, is going to keep this drive alive. And with Mitch Ross, you have to be ready for the unexpected.
Yes, you do. He'll do anything, anytime, anywhere. And I think
even
that's
a youth
what
football
makes it
field.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to start from the left hash, 1st down. In at running back is Fraga Cangeli. Quick screen of a far side is Buckley. It might go for a loss of a couple. Did not get much.
Yeah, so 8.5 minutes left.
Yep, in the 2nd quarter.
You don't really have to go fast. You can kind of this is a very good spot for the Falcons to have to go a really fast possession. You can kind of go at your own pace, and I think that's when they always do the best. When they go the fastest, usually it results in a forced error, and that's certainly right now. They can go their own space. They can run what they want. They have a chance to really design this drive to fit
Chamberlain
what they want to
do. And go down, as that is not the kind of tempo you want to see. Pocket collapsing. No fumble, even though there is a dog pile.
Yeah, it looked like they were wrestling whoever came out of that pile for New Canaan. There were a couple of players that were wrestling to try and yank the ball out of his hands, but in the end, the referees had seen enough.
Yep, so a big-time sack on 2nd down sets up a 3rd and long in a crucial drive for Fairfield. That is a sack you simply cannot take. Let's see what Chamberlain can get himself out of here. Empty backfield. No, excuse me, they will keep Fraga Cangeli to his right. Chamberlain looks right. 1v1 ball is caught. Room to move. A big catch and run, and he turns on the Jets to pay dirt. Touchdown Fairfield. It's Luca Ainon. One move and he's gone, Aiden.
Oh, that's almost half the field he just ran, and he spins. I wish we had replay to see that again. What a pretty spin. And he goes straight down the sideline. Wow.
And a well-placed ball from Chamberlain.
It's a one-score game if they can convert the, if they go for 2 or whatever they decide to do. It looks like they're probably going to take the PAT.
It's 21-12 with 7:06 left. New Canaan still in the lead. A 2-point conversion would make it a 7-score game. A failed 2-point conversion, though, would keep it at a 3-possession game. Yep, it would be a 9-point game if they went for 2 and missed. So this is a big decision here from Mitch Ross. And he will go for 2 to try to make it 7 points. Let's see. Here's Chamberlain. Over the middle, incomplete. And it will stay a 9-point game. 21-12. New Canaan in the lead, but they just gave up a massive catch-and-run touchdown to Fairfield's Luca Ainon. It leaves us with 7:06 left in the first half, where we have seen scoring, and more scoring. Over the last 6 minutes, 4 touchdowns. 2 from New Canaan, 2 from Fairfield. And that's what you want to see.
Yeah, really offensive game, and it's certainly been fun to watch.
Yeah. A lot of jitters, a lot of probably mini heart attacks from both coaching staffs so far in this game.
But you know what? I think you're more likely to see that on the New Canaan sideline today. I think if you're in Fairfield's position, you're not in a nobody expects them to win this game. Nobody expects them to keep it within 3-4 possessions. So right now, Mitch Ross has done what nobody else for Fairfield could do, and that is put the pressure on New Canaan and make Coach Marinelli think and start to worry a little bit and make them try to go for a little bit of a risky play. Yeah, Fairfield's got all the relaxedness, calmness in the world because nobody expects them to come even close. Yep. The fact that it's a 9-point game right now, it's been a really solid day for them so far.
Yep, you have one team that just came off a win against the defending state champion in the Badsons, who is pretty much St. Joseph's high school players. And obviously that was a game that a lot of people from the outside looking in did not expect them to win, and then they win by 10. So coming into this week, you could argue that they are the king of a mountain in this FCFL Senior League.
Yep.
And for Fairfield to come into New Canaan and go blow for them, albeit with a lot of mistakes, mental errors from New Canaan so far in this game, it's definitely a great feeling, and Fairfield's just hoping to keep this game close and come back from this 9-point deficit with 7:06 left in the second quarter. So here's Izzo on the boot with those neon green cleats. Sends it deep to, I believe, Connor Bailey, and not Chris Canat. That is the junior. And a solid return across the 20 to the 25. Reed Brown ran in for a 24-yard touchdown off a read option on his last possession. He's thrown a touchdown, no interceptions, I believe, through 2 games, and 2 rushing touchdowns from 10 and 24 yards out, respectively. Hayden Shin in at running back to start this drive. And a trips left to the bottom of your screen. Trips right to the bottom of your screen. Wind kicks up a little bit. Brown is going to give it up the middle to Shin, looking for some room. Pickup of a couple. New Canaan's just got one heck of an offensive line this year. You see him right there, number 77, David Siegel, the right tackle. He's got 10-plus Division I offers. Teddy DeClue, another captain, starting at center. Ned Brady, number 75, the big left tackle. He's going to go D1 for college. New Canaan wants to beat you at the line of scrimmage and in the run game. Second down. Brown looks left. Completion, no. Hayden Shin, their third down specialist, their pass catching specialist, in and out of the hands.
Yeah, and he was so focused on turning around and trying to get some extra yardage out of that play, he forgot to do the main thing.
Catch the ball.
Catch the football.
And he base. He had a good game last week on the ground, but those are the errors that have come to bite New Canaan in the butt a little bit. So a big third down, Fairfield with momentum, and looking to make a critical defensive stop here in New Canaan territory. 6:20 left in quarter number 2. New Canaan defending a 9-point lead, 21-12. Hayden Shin still in the backfield. And they are not going to take any risks here. Shin up the gut, and that will send out Nick Radman for a little bit better field position on a punt. The All-State punter last year.
So if you're Fairfield, you want to score right now. You want to put points on the board. You want to make it a one-possession game going into the locker room. Well, not the locker room, but going into halftime.
On the side of the field.
You got about a little bit less than 6 minutes left. We'll say 5.5 by the time they punt it away. Now is the time where you want to put together a very quick offensive drive. You're going to get good field position. Buckley hopefully can get a good return out of this.
Yep.
There's no reason for them not to at least make it a one-score game, either through a field goal or a touchdown.
The punt takes a New Canaan bounce in the other direction, and Buckley is not going to go close to that.
Yeah, he lost it. I think some kind of wind.
That's
it
a
hit
great
something,
bounce.
And it took a little bit of a weird hop, and he lost it.
Yep. Fielded by New Canaan's Riley Gardner at the 35-yard line. So that is where Kyle Chamberlain will set up shop, looking to get another big touchdown. Hooked up with Luca Ainone on that last drive on a big third down after that fake punt. Or was it the fake punt the drive before? I'm not even sure. So much has happened. So here they will start. Chamberlain under pressure and a sack from Henry Cannon alongside Alex Chur. A pair of seniors, and Cannon, the inside linebacker, makes a big play on the blitz.
Yeah, and again, you really have to limit those sacks.
Yep, Fairfield's had a tough time in pass protection tonight. We know their line a little bit.
It happened a lot last week, too.
Yep, a little bit undersized outside of that big right guard of theirs, number 76, Travis Hayden. But they need to clean that up. Zapellis in at running back. Chamberlain will dump it off to him, and he takes the big hit.
Oh.
Still going. Finally. Yep, pushed out of bounds by Matt Benevento.
That's a tough loss because he lost a lot more than just those 1 or 2 yards.
Yeah, especially on 2nd and long. It's going to be, again, another 3rd and forever after the sack and that quick pass that went nowhere. Matt Benevento has been very active so far this afternoon. One of the Rams starting outside linebackers. A lot of seniors on his New Canaan defense, but a lot of them first-year starters outside of the D-line and Braden Sweeney, but a lot of new pieces.
Yeah, very true. This is a young Rams group, something we don't really see too often.
It's a senior group, but an inexperienced one. Chamberlain looks right, completion. There's a flag at the end of the play thrown near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was all the way in the backfield, so some kind of hit.
It's going to be a hold, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. It did not pick up a first down on the catch and run. They're going to bring it back, and they're going to replay.
It was a holding against Ludlow.
Yep.
Or Fairfield.
Yep. So New Canaan chooses to accept it, so instead of a 4th and short, it's going to be 3rd and even longer because Mitch Ross is always going to take his shots with a 4th and manageable.
Probably, yes.
So New Canaan backs him up and repeats the down.
Well, if they could do that again, it would set up a 4th and manageable.
Yep. So trips left.
Got to look at the clock, though. About 3.5 minutes left. You got to start to move.
Chamberlain
get out of
dips
there.
A sack, takes a whacking. Corey Pickering comes in and lays the wood. Braden Sweeney also came from behind as well. Pickering burned through 3 jerseys last week. He ripped 3 jerseys. But that time, he just ripped through the O-line.
Yeah, that, again, you have to limit those sacks. Now they have to punt. It put him in a very bad position. At the very least, Chamberlain could have just gotten rid of it.
Well, he dipped out of the first one, so maybe he would have gotten rid of it.
It looked like he was kind of considering to run. He had some space. If he had gotten past the line, he had a chance to run.
So 21-12. Fairfield will punt with just under 3 minutes left in his first half. Here's Izzo from his own end zone. No fakes. And not a great punt. Connor Bailey won't even try to field it. It will take a Fairfield bounce. So a little bit of luck. Stops the clock with 2:40 left in the first half. And thank you so much for joining us on this FCFL broadcast for this crazy game between New Canaan and Fairfield.
Yeah, so it's definitely not ideal field position for the Rams, but they have been known to get a lot in just a little bit of time. So they certainly have a chance to score here. I'm not entirely sure how comfortable they'd feel with a field goal of that distance. They're not quite in field goal territory yet, so that's the good news for the Falcons. You can get a couple of stops, prevent any big gains. They should be able to hold them to just 21 points in this first half, which would be a very successful start. And it looks like they're just going to run out the clock.
Well, they do have time on their side.
Start two.
And they do have all 3 of their timeouts. That's a give up the middle to Christian Carson. They have plenty of time to work with just under 2.5 minutes left in the half. They don't want to give Fairfield any time, though. They're a great running team, New Canaan that is. But they're looking to add on to the score, even though they do get the ball to start half number 2. Second down. Brown can't draw him off sides on the hard count. So he'll go back to the sideline for a new play. We hit the 2-minute mark in the first half. Brown looks right in the quick screen, just couldn't get out there. Underthrown looking for Ryan Corbett, whose only catch of the game was a big one. Stops the clock with 1:53 remaining in the half. Trips left. Brown surveys. Plenty of time. And incomplete over the middle. There's a flag, though, in the direction of Griffin Koch. It's unsportsmanlike conduct on Fairfield. And the penalties that hurt New Canaan early are now starting to hit the Fairfield Falcons. So that's going to be a first down.
And it's going to be much more consequential for the Falcons than it was for the Rams because in the end it did result in a Fairfield touchdown, but here it may give the Rams a 2-possession lead, and you're right, they do get the ball to start the second half, which is going to be very tough. Fairfield's going to have to get a stop there.
So an incomplete pass in the direction of Griffin Koch. I'm not sure who the unsportsmanlike penalty was on, but it doesn't matter really right now. All that matters is it's a first down for New Canaan. Brown will hand it off up the middle. And again, Christian Carson not working with a lot, but he is just a power runner. Makes something out of nothing. Just over 1.5 minutes left in half number 1. New Canaan up 21-12. Second down. They're just going to keep giving it to Carson. Trucks a man over. Gets Buckley out of his way on the run to the right. But again, Fairfield staying stout. Actually, that's going to be a first down run, excuse me. Carson converting. 1:17 left in the half.
Yeah, they're up against the clock here. We'll see how long they go before they just decide to take a field goal.
Carson, another inside run. Finds a little bit of a hole and plows through. Runs over Fairfield's number 52. Jack Melbourne. 56 seconds and counting. New Canaan has all 3 timeouts, so keep that in mind on this second down. Hard count doesn't work. Working against the clock. 45 seconds left in the half. Christian Carson still to Brown's right. Brown looking to pass to the end zone and incomplete. Looking in the direction of Ryan Corbett.
Flag though in the backfield.
Good call, Aiden. In coverage on that one was Mike Anamo. Corbett couldn't get there. He was there, maybe a little bit underthrown, but he had his hands on it. And you know the rule. You get 2 hands on it, you should make the play. It looks like New Canaan's going to get pushed back.
Is that a rule? I've never heard of that rule.
If you should get 2 hands on it, you should catch the ball? You've never heard of that rule?
No.
No?
That may just be a one that only players would know. Never heard of it.
Look, it's not in an NFL rule book, but it's a rule. Quick
Quick
screen out to Christian Sweeney. He got both hands on that one. Near the
did
line
he get out of bounds?
The clock will stop.
Yeah, he did.
With 25 seconds left, so the answer is yes.
Yeah, that was clearly what the play was designed to do. Just get somebody out of bounds, stop the clock, 25 seconds left. We'll see how long if they maybe get off 1 or 2 more plays, probably only 1 more play before they got to decide if they want to kick a field goal.
So it's third down, Brown, screen pass.
Oh.
Christian Carson makes the play, spins out of bounds with 19 seconds left, and that is just enough. No, it's 4th down. Screen pass to Christian Carson, picks up a few, but not enough.
I thought he was going to be in. I thought he was scoring for sure. But they get the stop, 19 seconds. So they could probably get off 1, maybe 2 more plays before they have to kick.
Well, they have to get the 1st down because they're going for it on 4th. 19 seconds left. New Canaan with a 9-point lead. Brown can't draw them off sides.
They're going to use the timeout.
And they're just going to go and most likely kick a field goal after they couldn't get Fairfield off sides and get a 1st down.
Yeah, they have 19 seconds left.
True, but it looks like the offensive unit is going to head to the sideline. The kicking unit will come out, led by long snapper Matt Benevento, Reed Brown, the holder, Nick Radman, the kicker. But now we're going to go right back. So who knows what they're going to do here?
Well, it was a timeout. They are entitled to that time.
They are. 21-12, so it's already a 2-possession lead for New Canaan. So a field goal would make it a 12-point game, a potential touchdown and a PAT make it a 16-point game. And I'll remind you once again, New Canaan gets the ball at the half, so not the most pressure to protect this lead.
No, but if you can score here, that certainly helps.
Yes.
Because you get the opportunity to make it potentially a 3-possession game after just 1 possession in the second half. That could basically put it away.
So New Canaan's offensive unit is going to come back out.
And considering Fairfield's offense has been very, very good so far, I wouldn't put it above New Canaan to try and go deep on here.
So it's trips.
Yeah, they are going for it.
Trips to the left. Christian Carson's lined up out wide. Underwood in motion. Roll out to the right. Brown looks. Finds Ryan Corbett in the tight window. That's a 1st down. The clock will roll.
No, it's 13 seconds.
Well, the clock is stopped, but it should still be rolling. Brown's going to go under center, spike it. Stops the clock with 9 seconds left. Don't know if that's necessarily.
Oh, there's probably only 1 or 2 seconds left.
Because
so what they did was they stopped the clock. They shouldn't have because he was caught in bounds. There was no reason to stop the clock.
And there was no timeout called from New Canaan.
Yep.
Corbett gets enough for the 1st down, but obviously not in the end zone. The Rams are still short of that. 1st and goal. Brown, one in and out of the hands.
And that should be it. Maybe another second or so. They say 5 on the scoreboard.
And it looks like it's going to stay at 5. Corbett caught the ball with 13 seconds left. They clocked it with 9 seconds, but it looked like it took a little bit longer than 4 seconds for Corbett to get up and for New Canaan to spike it.
And now they're going to kick.
They are going to kick a field goal. So there's enough time to do that. Took another shot for Ryan Corbett, and incomplete. A little bit of a body catch attempt, and he couldn't secure it on that number 8 jersey. So let's see. Nick Radman looking to make his first field goal of the afternoon. This will most likely be the last play of the first half. It's actually not Radman on the kick. Oh, wait, no, it is. That's my bad. The kickers both have a jersey number that ends in number 9. What are you going to do? The kick is up. The kick is good, I believe. And that actually that actually wasn't Nick Radman. I was right the first time. See, they say on tests you got to go if your initial reaction is usually the right one. That was number 31. That was Ty Groff, the sophomore. Up and good as he replaced Nick Radman.
They didn't put it on the scoreboard.
They have not yet, but looks like he made it. We've had some scoreboard problems. So your score, you see it on your screen. New Canaan 24, Fairfield 12. Both teams unbeaten after last week's week 1 of FCFL Senior Division football. And right now, New Canaan looking to go to 2-0. They will get the ball at the half. We will have roughly a 15-minute break before the start of quarter number 3. Ian Nicholas alongside Aiden Blanc, our technical producer Emily Fox, our cameraman Austin Platt. We'll see you at the start of half number 2. Aiden will take over play-by-play duties. We'll see you then. Make sure to tune in, like, and subscribe.
Good. Back from New Canaan High School. It is a 12-point lead for the Rams at halftime. Aiden Blanc and Ian Nicholas ready to go for the second half. Ian, I was talking to Coach Ross at halftime. It wasn't.
No, you were.
It certainly wasn't a terrible start.
No.
And Ludlow certainly come back from down by a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 years they've come back from down 21.5 against Norwalk. So nothing's impossible. We're ready to kick things off in the second half. Nolan Izzo will go to punt it. Or kick it, rather.
What are you, Kevin Garnett? Anything's possible. Oh, it's an onside kick attempt.
It is an onside kick attempt.
There's
and again, there are more whistles.
Jesus.
Well, this time at least it's going to work in Fairfield's favor. The last time it didn't work in Fairfield's favor because they had to redo the 2-point attempts. But at least now they're going to get to re-kick it and avoid giving it away.
But now you've given away the secret.
Yeah, an onside kick, not the...
A surprise onside kick isn't that successful if you take away the surprise.
When you're down by 12 and you got a New Canaan offense that is working like it was, they've certainly got their work cut out for them.
New Canaan already has one return touchdown today from Chris Canet, number 9. He is back there once again. I'm pretty sure his father was the one who just screamed, "Take it to the house." So we will see if they will give him the opportunity, Canet is, or Connor Bailey, to take it to the house.
So once again, this time it looks like they're set up to kick it a little bit further. It's returned, and a really good run. Chris Canet is out, and we can't really necessarily see the yard line. The lights have now come on at Water Tower Field. But Chris Canet on the return to about midfield. Wow, it certainly didn't look like it, but he gets it all the way out to midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the New Canaan offense will take over. A New Canaan offense that stalled a little bit in that first half. They were about 50-50. You weren't sure what you were going to get. Now they've got the opportunity to come out and change that and make it a 3-possession game to start the half.
Here's a give to Hayden Shin. Finds a little bit of room.
And he's carried all the way back, but they should stop it at forward progress. Hayden with a run to start the first play of this second half.
And Hayden's a really interesting guy. They plan to use him at running back and wide receiver this year. But with Johnny Wise, their starting running back from last year, leaving at the beginning of the year to play high school ball in Georgia, it's been both Carson and Shin who have been the 1-2 punch at running back.
Another handoff. Shin down the middle, breaking to the outside, and that's going to burst.
Yeah, Hayden Shin. If there's one word to describe number 3, it's explosion. He had a lane up the middle. He cuts it outside to the right and just with full acceleration up the field.
Another snap. Brown to Shin. That's his 3rd straight run. And again, he's going to get a big yardage. He's their secret weapon sort of here in the second half. They didn't use him too much. They like to go to the air a little bit more in that first half. He definitely had his moments, but he's clearly going to get used to eat up some time to start this second half.
And they want to keep their bell cow, Christian Carson, healthy and, This time they go to the outside. Caught by Christian Sweeney, and another gain for the Rams. New Canaan and Fairfield, both 1-0. They both got wins in week 1. Mm-hmm.
One of these teams will walk away as a 2-0 squad heading into week 3. New Canaan will host the Brunswick Bruins.
Oh, that's their name. I had no idea.
And the Falcons will travel to Danbury. They're playing only away games for the rest of the season. New Canaan may end up playing only home games for the rest of the season.
Well, that's something that sounds some music to this community's ears.
Another handoff for Shin. Not as big of a gain as he got on those last few carries, but he'll definitely get a yard or two on the ground.
Yeah, and Hayden, his older brother, Owen, currently playing, I believe, college lacrosse over at Ohio Wesleyan. He was a great running back for this program a few years ago. Hayden, a senior, he got a lot of run towards the end of last year when Wise was banged up and him and Carson took on an expanded role. But he was definitely not expected to have this big a role heading into the year.
Man in motion, but another give to Shin. He'll get a couple of yards on the ground. Again, they want to run out the clock here in the second half. That's basically, the clock is going to work as the Falcons' enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And Hayden Shin is the key to doing that.
Yep, 24-12 game with 9.5 left in the third quarter, and this is just the brand of football New Canaan wants to play this year. Boring, down your throat, running.
This time, solid drive from the Falcons.
Yeah, that was a great catch from Sapellis. It's just, you got to design routes when you're that close to the goal line that will get you into the end zone.
He says excellent connection. Should be back.
But anyway, as I was saying, that's a tough blow from a play calling perspective. That's just something that, and we're back. We are back. So hello, everyone. If you're still tuning in with us, we're back. Guess who's back? Back again. Aiden Blanc and Ian Nicholas here from Waveney Park. I'll let Aiden take over here, and New Canaan just got a defensive stop, and we'll tell you what happened in a moment.
They're backed up near the end zone. Under center is Reed Brown. A run up the gut that's not going to go for much, and that ends the third quarter of play. So a 15-point lead for the Rams. Hey, it's a lot closer than a lot of people, including you and I, thought it would have been by this point.
Yeah.
A lot of people I talked to this week said, hey, if we can avoid a running clock in the second half, that would be a good start. This has been a very good day for the Falcons, and it's only getting better. Now they need to get a stop. We will take a short break, and we will join you for the fourth quarter. It's 27-12. The Rams on top. Back in a little bit on the FCFL Digital Network. Ready to start the fourth quarter in week 2 of the FCFL. Aiden Blanc and Nicholas, we apologize for the technical difficulties. I do believe we were being recorded, so we do have a stream of that.
We will get the full
stretch.
stream up
Exactly.
for you at some point.
We do have the stretch that got cut out, but we appreciate you joining us. To recap, you missed a fake punt by New Canaan that ended up a turnover on downs, and then Fairfield drove all the way down, and they turned it over. So a 15-point lead. And we start the quarter with another run from the Rams. They are very close to their end zone, so they're probably not going to take too many risks, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, I would not, because, if you take you cannot turn the ball over or take a safety of any kind. You have a big lead. You can move the line of scrimmage with your powerful offensive line, and you can run the ball. That's a winning formula when you are backed up near the goal line. And a run up the middle here, Christian Carson, nowhere to really go. And that will set up, not sure what down it is. I believe second or third. They are short of the yard marker. That was third down, so I'm not Tom Brady. I can figure out the yard marker. I can figure out what down it is at some point. And, they are going to send out the punt unit.
That was a little bit of a cheap shot. I'm not a Patriots fan, but that was a little bit of a cheap shot.
No, I wasn't at you. That was at me, and that was not. Look, it is tough. We are in a tough spot here, Aiden. It is tough to figure out the yard markers. That was just directed at our vantage point.
Time to punt it away. Dylan Blair is back. Gets it up, and away. It is past Buckley, and it's going to roll all the way down past the 30-yard line. So not great field position to start for the Falcons. Definitely not ideal, to say the least.
No, not at all, and especially with little time left, 10:25. But if you do want to take away one positive, if you are a Fairfield fan, it's an explosive offense. It's a big play offense. They ride or die off of the explosive plays of 20 or more yards. They have athletes that can run after the catch, Aiden. 10 minutes is plenty of time to erase a 15-point lead. The bigger problem is the defense you're playing against.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah,
so
you're absolutely right. Back to throw. Chamberlain on 1st and 10, complete to the far side. Get a couple of yards out of that. Complete to Michael Palladino on that far side. And they set up 2nd down. A little bit less than 10. We don't have the benefit of a scoreboard like we normally would.
No.
We don't have the benefit of a press box like we normally would.
But we are making it work. I want to thank my crew once again for doing all they did.
Complete over the middle, blocked.
Henry Cannon.
It landed right in the hands of Henry Cannon, and he just swatted it down with 2 hands.
Well,
What's your saying? If you get 2 hands on the football, you should catch it?
I'll say the same to Henry. It's still a great play. He leaped up to make the pass breakup, jumped in the passing lane. So a good play. He will be biting himself for that one, for not getting it. That would have been maybe a game sealer, but a good play.
There's a run. Capellas. They're going to have to go for it on 4th down. Not much of a choice with just 9.5 to play in this game. Trailing by 15. Ball does stay with Ludlow. There was no turnover. So, Manny Capellas is hobbling off the field, and considering he's their 2nd-string running back, that's a little bit of a
concern.
That is not great.
I mean, you always hope to have good depth on your teams, but especially now with a limited sideline and it's private league, you can't carry as many players as you would in a traditional season. So, in a traditional league. So, you're probably going to see a lot more empty backfields. Right now, they do have, though, Jake Fragangeli in the backfield.
Fragangeli in the backfield. He got it away, and it's incomplete. And another turnover on downs. No, it is 4th down. I was off by a down.
And Kyle Chamberlain is banged up. And he can't put much, if not any, weight on that right leg. He is going to stay down. Henry Cannon came from the inside on the blitz. He had the pass breakup a few moments ago. And talk about injuries you simply cannot afford. For a guy who, I don't know him personally, but you probably do a little bit, Aiden, a guy who's worked really hard to get to where he is right now, from Westport to here, and to be the starting quarterback of Fairfield. Grabbing that left knee, that is just not what you want to see.
And on 2 consecutive plays, they lose Capellas, and now they've lost their starting quarterback, Chamberlain. So that means Don Ballor is going to enter this game. You can see him warming up. Obviously not to overshadow this injury, but Don Ballor is going to come into this game. He is normally their JV quarterback and the backup for varsity. He's going to get a chance to really impress Coach Ross right now. If he can get them in the end zone, I think Coach Ross would be pleasantly surprised.
And what grade is he in, Aiden?
He's a junior.
He's a junior.
So this is going to be his team next year, considering Chambo is a senior and he is off the field. This is a very tough loss for them. Chamberlain, a guy who has worked so hard to get to this spot. Him and his brother, Chris, came over specifically to play football at Fairfield Ludlow. They transferred from Staples. Had to sit out all of last season, so basically missed his entire junior year. I know he's been looking at colleges. Our best to him and his family. But you do have to look at the big picture for Fairfield Ludlow, and that means the future of this team, Don Ballora, now gets to come in at quarterback. Jake Fragangeli will be the running back. Ballora dumps, actually it was Buckley in at quarterback. He dumps it off. There were multiple flags on the play. That was a tough play all around. A botch snap. Buckley had to sling it off to the far side. That was a very tough play, and hopefully they get it they get a chance to redo it.
Yep. This is going to be, I don't know how much faith they are going to put in Don Ballora. Don Ballora. At this moment, we have seen Buckley get reps at quarterback today. It hasn't been the cleanest thing in the world, but it seems like they do have some faith in Buckley as the signal caller. And look, if you do get a little bit of a trial run right now, Mitch Ross definitely doesn't want to see that injury, but at least you do get a little glimpse against some elite competition of what you could have at quarterback next year and hopefully what is a SEAC-sanctioned fall season. This is what you get. This is, not what you want to see, but this is your trial run and your look at the 2021 starting quarterback most likely. And there he is.
So this is the first varsity snap Don Ballora will take. It's with Fraticangelli in the backfield. Pressure coming. Airs it just incomplete. It was intended for Smith, who had to dive forward, and it just bounced in front of him. So with 8:12 to go in the fourth quarter, it's 27-12. The Falcons are trailing by 15. If you can get a score here and you put it in the end zone and get a 2-point conversion, it's a 7-point game.
Oh, there's plenty of time, Aiden. But, with a backup quarterback, third-string running back, it's tough. But I like what he's had on that first play. He had nothing to work with. The pocket collapsed instantly. He got rid of the football. Let's see what he can do here on a huge third down.
Ballora takes the snap, backfield empties, airs it far side. It is incomplete. Jumping on it was Nolan Larkin, and it was right in his hands as he fell back.
And Larkin with the leap there.
But
maybe a little. Yeah.
They're going to send the punt team out. Not really confident to go for it without Chamberlain as their starting quarterback.
No. That was an interesting ball. Don't really know where that was intended to go. Larkin, a great athlete, misjudged that leap a little bit. He could have had an interception. But regardless, Larkin has been active all over the field today. He didn't play much. Actually, Aiden, that was fourth down. That was a turnover on downs.
We've been so off today. But anyways, back onto the field is Reed Brown, and we get a handoff to Aiden Shin. We haven't seen him in a while, but he gets a couple of yards up the gut. We haven't really seen him because there's been no need for him. You're up by 15 points. You're not really looking to just voluntarily injure him, and you got a big game against Brunswick next week. It's a very important game against Brunswick next week, so you don't necessarily want to be taking too many risks right now if you're Lou Marinelli, but you'd like to see maybe one or two more scores before this game ends.
Now, you'd like to see your young yet experienced offense led by a first-year starter in Reed Brown make some more strides. This is your time to, get those reps and just play good football and time of possession and take up the clock.
Another handoff
to Shin.
He's taking a beating up there on the line, though. That Ludlow line, speaking from experience, that Ludlow offensive line's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
When they hit you, it's not going to feel great.
Yeah, the defensive line, not the biggest, Aiden, but for such a strong offensive line that New Canaan has, there really hasn't been a ton of room to run for Carson or Shin. And you have to give them credit. They have, managed to keep some control of the line of scrimmage.
Complete. And a lot of running room. He is close, but not quite into the end zone. Christian Sweeney has been a beast at wide receiver today, and they target him on one of their final drives of the game. He gets a huge gain and drags nearly half that Falcon team down with him.
He's a big guy. He can box out in basketball. He can break tackles in football. That was the exact same play, I believe, that got the Rams their first touchdown of this private season last week. An RPO over the middle, Christian Sweeney on the slant route. Get your guy out in space where he can beat man coverage, and where the linebackers have already come up to defend the run because New Canaan runs the ball so well. And it's just an easy play to execute when you develop a running mentality like they have. Chris Connett in at running back right now, too.
Brown's under center, a man in motion. Down the middle, and that should put him in. No. The ball went to the outside.
Well, yeah, you saw a pull play.
Short.
Yeah, you saw a pull from Siegel and Lucarelli. They were in the end zone, but Carson not. And, they were able to get out there in space. Don't really know what happened to blow that play up. But this is your final stand right now for Fairfield. You want any chance to get back in this game, down 2 scores, 15-15 on the clock, and you have to make a stop here.
Down the middle again. Did they get it in? Yes, they did. Touchdown, New Canaan.
And that is Christian Carson's 3rd score in 2 games, and that is where he is at his best, Aiden. It is when you put all the odds against him, you load the box, you give him a little bit of room, and you let him bulldoze. We called him the Diesel, and he fills up the tank with the touchdown there.
33-12. They are going to go for the extra point. It's Radman, and he's got it.
Hits the top of the tent, no problem. That's why we got the tent, or else we would have died.
34-12. It is now a 22-point advantage for the Rams.
Yeah. And
not ideal. Not an ideal second half, but the first half, Fairfield was competing.
Well, the thing is New Canaan, and I know that Coach Marinelli, he is never satisfied, and that's why he's such a phenomenal coach. He's a guy who you can win by 50 points, 60 points, and he will still try to point out the negatives first before the positives. And that's why this program is such a successful one, because they look to clean up mistakes at any turn. You saw so many mental errors from New Canaan in the first half, from penalties, really mostly penalties, that put Fairfield in a position where they could get in this game, and it was close. And give credit to Fairfield. They played fantastic ball in the first half, but the biggest difference between half 1 and half 2 was New Canaan cleaned up the mistakes at the halftime break.
Long ball that is received just in front of the end zone. Returned by Drew Smith. First return of this season. He is brought all the way back. Multiple flags on the play. It's interesting. These are not officials from the state of Connecticut, and these are officials from the great state of New York, our neighbors.
Oh, now that's something I didn't know. Well,
yeah, they couldn't find any officials from Connecticut that were willing to do it as independent contractors. So they've got officials from New York that said, "Hey, we'll come do it."
Hey, money is money. But that's good to hear. This league, it took a lot in a little amount of time to make this happen.
Absolutely. Back to throw. It is complete.
And you know what, Aiden? I'm going to cut you off. Guess who's back? Chamberlain and
I was just about to say, I had to do a double take. Chamberlain is back, so he was not as badly injured as we thought.
That's good for him.
Unfortunately, it comes at a little too late of a time. They're only going to be able to get maybe another possession in before this thing ends. But obviously, it's great to have your first-string quarterback ready to go.
Yeah, and it's an interesting decision to keep him in the game right now. He's a first-year starter, so you want him to get reps.
To throw, he's also a senior. On the near side, it's intercepted. Pulled down by Chris Canet. And New Canaan's going to get probably one final offensive possession of the half. Boy, this has just become a little bit of a rout here in the second half. New Canaan with a big interception. Someone is injured. It's another Falcon. They have just taken a bunch of hits.
Yeah, that is going to be the captain, Ben Zhao.
And unfortunately for him, that's probably the day for him. We'll see if he gets in on another possession. But Zhao was senior.
Well, he was shaken up, but he looks all right. I think it's an interesting decision to keep Chamberlain in the game, especially when you're down big. But as you mentioned, Aiden, he is a senior, but he is a first-year starter, only his second career start, just like Reed Brown. And, give him as many reps as possible, but also you don't want to get that injury you don't want him popping up on the injury report, I guess. You don't want him banged up more than he has to be. But, hey, a phenomenal effort from him today. He made some big-time throws under a lot of duress.
Rams are back out for another offensive possession. Handoff. It goes to Shin. Get a few yards. At this point, you're just trying to run out the clock.
Yeah,
put the Falcons out of their misery. There are definitely positives and negatives to take from this game. They didn't back down. They played a very good first half. Aside from if they had been able to get that 2-point conversion on that first touchdown, it would have been a 10-point game. It was a 12-point game.
Yeah.
In the second half, though, they've just collapsed. Offensively, defensively, everywhere. They've just had a little bit of a collapse. And listen, they got a winnable game next week. There are a number of games that they can and should win. They're going to play Danbury next week, a Danbury team that got shut out last week. That's complete to the near side against Stamford. So that was Buckley on the completion. But you're going to see a very different game next week. They're going to come out with a lot of confidence because they know they should win the game next week against Danbury. Danbury, one of the weaker teams in this league.
Yeah, Max alert on that last catch.
They've kind of just lost all their confidence here in this second half.
Yeah, no, look, New Canaan plays a very draining style of ball. As Brown, just a quick screen right back out to Max Alert, his second straight catch. Shout out to a member of our, well, not our, obviously, we're the FCFL, but in school with station manager of the NCTV program. Shout out to him. But, Aiden, look, New Canaan plays a very draining style of football, and it's going to really, and that's going to be turnover on, no, it's going to be a punt. It really is just going to tire you out. It might not tire you out in the first quarter, but when you're in the fourth and your guys are absolutely gassed, it is hard it's hard to keep that motivation.
You're going to just take it off the air, pal. They're going to come shut us down. Back to punt. This is not going to be great field position for the Falcons. It is returned and dropped, and he's got to fall on it at the 5-yard line. Second one that Buckley's had a problem with today. So the Falcons will start with the 5. Main goal here is just get it away from the end zone here.
Yeah, just look. These are the reps you can take, Aiden. Again, these are all just mental repetitions at this point. Just cleaning up things that you can late in the game, and just don't make any more critical errors. It doesn't even matter if you score a 99-yard touchdown at this point. It matters about, can you get some push up front? Can you make the right move at the right time? For Chamberlain, don't make any mistakes. Don't fumble a handoff. These are just mental reps.
Hit as he throws. It is incomplete. Buckley is tripped up. He is getting up, but if he had gotten that, he had a lot of grass in front of him. Or a lot of turf in this case in front of him.
Yep, Carter Connors, the junior on the coverage. His older brother, Jack, a senior, also on this team. So New Canaan starting to rotate some of their younger guys into the lineup right now. Chamberlain was under pressure in a hurry. I believe that was Barrett Schmitz who came right at him. Had to get rid of it.
1:55 to play in the second half. We're so glad you could join us for week 1 of the Fairfield County Football League. From the end zone, Chamberlain to throw, has to get rid of it. He does, and it's beyond the reach of Drew Smith out on that side.
Yep, those are the plays you got to make if you are Kyle Chamberlain. He's got an arm. He's got a live ball. We have seen it so far this evening. And, when you're outside the pocket, it does get tougher when you're off platform and you're not really working with a terrific set of mechanics. But, you got to put that ball where your guy can get it. Somewhere in the vicinity with 1:48 left in this quarter.
On the far side, letting it go. It is complete. Hauled in. Luca Iannone fell on it. We were just confirming, yes, he did fall on it, and it was complete.
If there's ever such thing as a Hail Mary with a rollout, that was it. Just rolling away from pressure.
And he had credit to Chamberlain. Those last 3 plays, he was in the end zone, had to get rid of it. Otherwise, he would have been hit for a safety.
Yep. Just rolling out from pressure, getting him away from the Rams' pass rush. And again, you mentioned, Aiden, you're right. They are great in 1v1 situations. Fairfield receivers are.
Against the clock, inside a minute and a half to play. It is complete. No.
Yep.
Incomplete on the near side.
Yep.
Almost intercepted. That was close.
Yep, Chamberlain took, again, another whacking. You got to give him credit. He is a tough kid. He has taken a lot of hits. He was dinged up earlier in this quarter. It looked like his night was over. He comes right back out here like a warrior. And he just continues to take blow for blow. And Mitch Ross, the first thing he's going to have to clean up after this game before they head to play Danbury is the pass protection. They need to get better up front, and they will.
Back to throw. Pressure coming. Unloads. Tipped. And caught. Wow, a weird little sequence. It was grabbed by Iannone, but it was tipped by one of the Rams up on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be good enough for a first down. It'll be just a few yards. They are now down to 1:07 to play. The clock was stopped. Not sure why.
Yeah, that was a screen pass they were trying to set up, batted by New Canaan, and one of their backup outside linebackers. And it looks like, yeah, as you mentioned, they were able to get some kind of miracle completion out of that off the pass breakup.
I thought he caught it at least.
Maybe not.
Either way, Chamberlain's back out there. 1:07 to go. 34-12. The Rams on top. Rolling to the near side. Evades the sack. Lets it go, and it's going to go down as an incompletion, but just was trying to shovel it off to Manny Capellas, who, good to see him back in the game. So they're at least back to the same group that they started this game with. That's maybe the biggest positive.
That's always something you want to see.
They didn't lose Capellas, who's played terrific today, and they didn't lose their quarterback, Chris Chamberlain, or Kyle Chamberlain.
Yep. And again, you just see it there. He's just trying to shovel the ball away, and he just cannot stand there for a second when he's not under duress. And as good a quarterback as he might be, you cannot do anything when big New Canaan Rams are flying at you play after play.
Back to throw, a little bit more space. It was tipped and incomplete. Stopped with 53 seconds. We're inside of a minute to play.
And
that's fourth down. Why not go for it?
Again, trying to set up another screen pass. That's going to be another turnover on downs. And Chamberlain, you can see, he is hobbling to the sideline. He's a warrior. He's a guy who you Fairfield fans,
absolutely.
You are going to love him for the rest of this season because he's a big guy. He can hang in there. He can move. And he is going to give it 150%. And there they are, the Rams in victory formation. Reed Brown will stay undefeated as the Rams' starting quarterback. He ran for 2 touchdowns today. I don't believe he threw for one. Christian Carson ran for another 2, and the Rams also made a pair of field goals as well. One from Nick Radman, both from kicker Ty Groff. And there you'll have it. We still have 20 seconds left of game time, but Aiden.
Yep, the clock's going to run out, and New Canaan's going to 2-0. It was not a bad game for Fairfield. They played well in the first half. They just fell apart late, and that'll be one of the main things you're going to have to fix next week. Mitch Ross and Lou Marinelli exchanging words at midfield. And under the lights, the Rams are 2-0 to start the season. They're going to face another big test. They beat St. Joe's / Badsons. Now they got to go play Brunswick next week. It's going to be here. It's going to be a very big game.
Mm-hmm.
We will have it for you.
Yep, on the FCFL. Our crew here, our FCFL crew will be here. You will be in Danbury.
I believe I'll be up at the Dome in Danbury.
Hopefully you will be, and hopefully this FCFL channel will have both streams. And if you're a fan of New Canaan, you're a fan of Fairfield, heck, you're a fan of Fairfield County football, we will have both live streams. But there's your final, Aiden. New Canaan 2-0 now, and Fairfield dropping to 1-1. So there's your final. 34-12, Reed Brown with a rushing touchdown, Chris Connett with a 99-yard kick return score, and Christian Carson with not 1 but 2 rushing touchdowns. And for Fairfield, we had touchdowns from Iannone, and heck, it was a lot of scoring. I can't remember all of it. It's been a long day. We are so happy we could get you the live stream for this one here from Water Tower Turf. This field wasn't really made for live streaming, but heck, we're here. We did it. I want to give one last shout out to you, Mr. Aiden Blanc, for coming down from Fairfield with your father, Chris Blanc. Thank you so much for coming and helping us with this one. Our technical director, Emily Fox, our cameraman, Austin Platt. You both did a fantastic job. I'm Ian Nicholas, and as Aiden mentioned, we'll see you next week for New Canaan versus Brunswick Saturday Night Football.